Angels win a walk-off game here to win 6 in a row. 6-5 the final. Kevin Pillar comes through in the clutch. We'll talk about it on a interesting edition of the Locked On Angels Postcast.
You are Locked On Angels Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Los Angeles, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
As you can see here, a very unique edition of the Locked On Angels Postcast, coming back after some technical difficulties, after the computer I was using decided to basically explode on me. I might not have a laptop. It was that crazy of a Saturday night after that crazy of an Angels win. Shout out to everybody in here who was sticking with me after the computer died. I hope you can hear me all right. Breakless says, "We back, baby." Shout out to you. Also, shout out to Nick King, Anaheim Angel, Fut Alex, everyone else that was in here when the computer died on me. I hope I have a computer tomorrow for you guys. But in the meantime, let's jump back into talking about this game. I am going to kind of start over just so that I can maybe leave this video up on the YouTube channel after the fact for anybody who wants to watch it after the fact. Hello, Halo Nation. Hello, Halo Hopefuls. This is the Locked On Angels Postcast coming at you live on the Locked On Sports Los Angeles YouTube channel. I am Gavin Carlson, doing my best despite technical difficulties here, using my phone, using my headphones, hoping you can hear me okay. But today's show was brought to you by Booking.com, Booking.yeah. Use Booking.com to have a stay even in your rival city. I'm ad-libbing the ad sponsor because I don't even have that in front of me, but shout out to Booking.com for sponsoring this video. And shout out to everybody in here. Fud Alex back says, "What up?" Daniel Barry says, "Yo." Really appreciate you guys sticking with me. It's an amazing community we're starting to build here on the postcast, and I love you guys so much for sticking with me even through these technical difficulties. 6-5 the final. The Angels have won 6 in a row. I already talked about it before my computer died, but just jumping back in, the resilience of this team is something to behold. Like I said, it was 5-2. There was a lack of confidence on my end, probably on some of your guys' end, thinking, all right, this magical run of 5 in a row, magical, even though it's against weak teams, still a magical run when your Angels, who were 30-46 about a week ago, were 35-46 coming into this one, 5 in a row, and you're down 5-2, you're going into the 7th inning. You really haven't done anything since that 2-run inning earlier in the game. And you get the rally. You get 2 runs in the bottom of the 7th, thanks to Taylor Ward coming through, thanks to that 2-run double, scoring Joe Adell from third, who even in another poor performance from him is able to get on with a walk. Luis Rengifo able to get it done again with another base hit. And Taylor Ward, who I keep saying, one of the most polarizing guys on this Angels team. There's certain guys who I think the whole team hate, or the whole fan base hates. Anthony Rendon, we all hate. Jose Suarez, we all hated. Taylor Ward is a polarizing one because he has given stuff to this franchise. He is also underwhelmed a lot for us. And he has an opportunity right now with Mike Trout out again, with no Shohei Ohtani, to be the 3-hole hitter, to be the guy. And sometimes he comes through. 3-run home runs, 2-run doubles, stuff like that. Tonight, he comes through with the 2-run double, 2-run score in the 7th. It's a 5-4 game. You're not able to add any more because Miguel Sano strikes out. Don't really love him being an everyday guy for the Angels. All of a sudden, he comes back, and suddenly we're acting like he is prime Miguel Sano, and he needs to hit every day. He does not need to hit every game. I don't think he's earned that. So he strikes out. The Angels don't score any runs. And as Fud Alex said, he thinks I kind of thought the streak was over being down before the 7th. Exactly. I think I felt the same way. But there was more for our Angels. In the 8th, Logan O'Hoppe, the man himself, able to come through. Like I was saying, I think he is the number 1 guy in this franchise right now. I don't know if it's even a bold claim at this point. Earlier in the year, I was thinking maybe it's Zach Neto, just because I do think having a shortstop like Zach Neto, who is a plus in the field, who is becoming a plus when he hits, is arguably one of the most valuable things in all of baseball. But let's not forget about how important a catcher is. And let's not forget about how valuable it is to have a catcher like Logan O'Hoppe, who's becoming a prime JT Realmuto, who's becoming a guy who can do everything, who certainly can field, who certainly can hit, who certainly actually is an athlete that can contribute on the bases, steal some bases, extend some singles into doubles, who above all else is a leader who gives his pitchers confidence and support and the right words during mound visits. But above all else is clutch. He is clutch, folks. Back-to-back games with an eighth inning home run. This one, not a 3-run shot to go ahead and make it an easy win. But I still think this one, even more important, you're down. You've done enough to make it 5-4, but still not enough to come all the way back. And it would be very Angels-esque, let's be honest, to down 5-2, have 2 runs in the 7th, get the fans thinking the comeback's coming, and then roll over in the 8th and 9th. That would be very Angels-esque. But no, at least not during this run. Logan O'Hoppe comes through again, bottom of the 8th inning, absolutely crushed one. Like I said, it was 111 exit velo, and he's able to tie the game. Carlos Estevez, locked down in the 9th. He gave up 1 base runner, but that's it. Other than that, locked down, got some help in the field. Great play by Zach Neto. Bottom of the 9th, 1-2-3, not able to do anything against the Tigers closer, but that's okay. Then we go to the 10th. Ben Joyce. What a hard spot for Ben Joyce. This guy's young. We know he's a flamethrower. We know he's a bit wild. We know he's a bit limited in his pitches, but he's starting to work in the sinker more, folks. He's not just blindly throwing 103-mile-an-hour fastball right down the middle like he was even a few appearances ago. A extremely rapidly quick development for Ben Joyce already. We're seeing it. Mixing in the sinker or two-seam, whatever you want to call it. The slider is okay. It's getting better. And anytime you can come in with the new extra inning rules, I don't know if we can say new at this point, but anytime you can come in with the extra inning rules, with the runner on second and not give up a run, I don't care how you do it, is an absolute win, obviously. So shout out to Ben Joyce, coming up clutch, another young guy, like in Logan O'Hoppe, another young guy who there's faith for the future. Even if there isn't a great farm system, at least the young guys that are up right now are playing well, and that's what this season is all about. And then finally, of course, in the bottom of the 10th, I said it was a miracle before my computer exploded. I'll say it again now. A miracle that the Angels actually do the right thing in extra innings when it comes to hitting and actually put down the sack bunt, able to move the runner from second to third. Thank you, Luis Guilherme, for executing the sack bunt. And with a miracle that not only 1, but 2 correct sacrifice plays. I just pray for 1 in innings, right? When we have runners on second and third with nobody out, too many times we don't score any runs. And so when there's opportunities like that, I just pray for 1, the bare minimum. Just give me 1 correct sacrifice play. But a miracle, back-to-back for our Angels. Luis Guilherme, beautiful sack bunt, move over to third, and then Kevin Pillar, the sack fly to come through and win it. The Angels are doing everything right. It's rare to say. And sure, maybe scoring 3 runs combined in the 7th and 8th and then another in the 10th hides the fact that it wasn't a great hitting performance in the first 6 innings, only scoring 2 runs. Sure, the bullpen being lights out maybe hides the fact that Griffin Canning certainly was not lights out. But you can't be perfect in baseball. Rarely are you going to have a great starting pitching performance, a great bullpen performance, and a constant 9 innings of scoring runs. Of course not. That's not how baseball works. It's about, above all else, resilience, timeliness, doing the basic things right, the fundamental things right, sack bunts, sack flies, occasionally having a growing superstar like a Logan O'Hoppe come through with a home run in a big moment. And you're not going to get a perfect starting pitching performance all the time. Thank goodness that we had a perfect bullpen performance. So there have been games where I've been proud of this team. I still think that Astros game where we had the home runs from 3 of the young guys, and that was a historic inning or game, that was one of the most fun wins we've had this year. But this is up there just because multiple times you thought they were going to lose this game, but the resilience, the right guys coming through with Logan O'Hoppe, with Ben Joyce, and a fan favorite in Kevin Pillar, a guy who has struggled a little bit as of late, who hasn't been given enough opportunities as of late. He was able to come through. It's one of the most fun wins of the season. I'm really proud of this team, and I don't know what this front office is going to do. Once again, I hope they're not delusional and suddenly think that they are going to buy at the deadline or anything like that. But it's not. You can, rejoice and have fun with a win and still be focused on the future if you're a fan. The same way you can still go to a game and pay for a ticket and still hate Artie Moreno. You can do both. You can be thrilled that this team is on a 6-game winning streak and still know that this season is about focusing on the future above all else. And so I'm not going to jump on and say that this team who has now won 6 in a row is going to win 6 more, who's going to, by the All-Star break, be knocking at the door of 500 baseball and of wild card baseball. I'm not going to say all that. But I am going to say that, boy, it is so fun to have won 6 in a row, and it is making me more and more confident about the future every single game. When it's not Anthony Rendon's and, Willie Calhoun's, it's Logan O'Hoppe's and Zach Neto's and Ben Joyce's. So with all that being said, shout out to everybody in here. I know this is a crazy postcast with me on my phone, talking into my headphones as a microphone. It is not ideal. My computer basically exploded on me. But I thank all of you for being in here, sticking with me, and continuing to make the Locked On Angels Postcast a growing community that normally is a lot more professional, but always is fun and always is all about you guys. So with all that being said, I'm going to take my first break. I'm going to try to remember the sponsors, and then I'm going to come back and continue talking. Next up, we're going to talk about that Griffin Canning start. We're going to talk about the bullpen being resilient. We're going to do all of that after our first break here on a very unique edition of the Locked On Angels Postcast. I'm looking for the button. There it is. Today's show is brought to you by Booking.com, Booking.yeah. Now, with Booking.com, whether it's Booking.com on the website or the Booking.com app, there is no better place to look for hotels, bed and breakfast, motels, wherever to stay, to go on trips. It's the summertime. It's the perfect time, whether you live in the West Coast and want to go to the East Coast and take advantage of, for once, the weather being nice. Or if you live in the East Coast and you don't like the humidity and you want to come to beautiful California, or even during the summer, it's not that humid. It's a nice dry heat and it's beautiful weather. Regardless, whether you're an Angels fan who wants to go to a rival city game in Seattle, or a Dodger fan that wants to go to a rival city game in San Francisco, Booking.com is the place to go. So please, book today on Booking.com on the website or on the Booking.com app and enjoy summertime travel to go watch baseball games, to go do anything, whether it's with the family, whether you're a student who's on summer vacation. Use Booking.com. Shout out to them for being a sponsor on today's unique Locked On Angels Postcast. Today's show is also brought to you by FanDuel.com. Now look, summertime, the playoffs are over in the NHL. Shout out to the Panthers. The playoffs are over in the NBA. Shout out to the Celtics. But, because of that, sports aren't sportsing as much as they normally are in the summer, as much as they normally are throughout the year. But with that being said, with FanDuel Sportsbook, I can still add excitement to my sports fandom, to my sports loving self. So whether it's the Euros or the Copa America happening in the world of soccer, whether it is the daily fun that is the Major League Baseball season, or whether it's anything else, FanDuel Sportsbook is the place to go. And they're hooking you up in the summer with daily boosts, with promotions, all that, because they know it is a unique time as a sports fan in the summer. So use FanDuel.com/lockedon to take advantage of a deposit match and of all those promotions. Shout out to FanDuel for sponsoring this video, and let's get going with the postcast. We are back here live on the Locked On Sports Los Angeles YouTube channel. This is the Locked On Angels Postcast, a very unique one. I'm on my phone. As you know by now, my laptop exploded in the middle of the previous stream, and I'm working with you guys, working with the tech I have to keep things going. Shout out to everybody in here. I love you all so, so much for being resilient, for sticking with me. And it's no secret that the Angels winning is what keeps this postcast fun and exciting. And boy, the Angels are doing that. 6 wins in a row, now 36-46, thanks to a thrilling come from behind 5-2 deficit turned into a walk-off 6-5 win in the bottom of the 10th. And can I just say real quick, shout out to me for somehow memorizing those ads and those promotions somewhat. I thought I did a pretty good job. I don't know about you. And I know a lot of you are liking that Booking.yeah in the ad reads. But with all that being said, let's talk about the Griffin Canning start. I unfortunately don't have the box score in front of me because I don't have a laptop in front of me. I just have a phone that I'm looking at with the stream. But Griffin Canning was not great. I know he gave up 5 runs. I do remember that. I know he had 2 walks. I think it was 6 hits. The first inning struggles continue for him. I think his ERA in the first inning, like a couple starts ago, was 12. He can't be much better now. I know he's among the worst pitchers in all of Major League Baseball in that first run ERA. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is because Griffin Canning is, not in terms of, starting pitchers for the Angels that have, emotional issues. We know that. And that might be a funny way of saying it. But we know that Patrick Sandoval gets angry at times. We saw it with Zach Plesac yesterday, getting angry, absolutely losing it. Griffin Canning showed some frustration on the mound emotionally. There were a couple missed calls. He wanted that check swing strike 2. He didn't get it. He had a couple poor pitches himself. He gives up the front run in the first inning. He settles down to the second, and I'm thinking, okay, Griffin Canning, hopefully he can have a resilient start. It's been a resilient stretch for the whole Angels team in this 5-game winning streak. It's not like we won any of our games in this streak 10-1 or anything like that. Every game has been relatively close. And there's been a lot of guys that you don't expect to coming through, whether it's Rosny Contreras, whether it is, let's be honest, Luis Guillermo coming through, or even a Kevin Pillar tonight, who as of late, you maybe don't expect to do that. Guys have been resilient. Guys have been coming through. And I was hoping we'd see the same from Griffin Canning after that first run inning, but we did not get it. 5 runs. He gave up the home run. I don't remember what inning because I don't have it in front of me, but he struggled in the first inning, and he's actually been pretty resilient and able to respond in innings 2 through 4, 2 through 5 after having a bad first inning, it seems like, every single game. But tonight, he did not have it. He was kind of all over the place, walking guys, not looking great, not looking like even a serviceable starting pitcher. That's why a guy like Fud Alex is in here saying they need to trade Canning. I don't know. I feel like the trade value for him is not that great right now. He has not been great. So I don't know what you could get for him, but he certainly isn't a guy of the future. He's kind of just a stopgap guy. And I just think there are too many holes in the rotation right now to trade a guy like Canning. You trade Canning while, Detmers and Silseth are in AAA, while Patrick Sandoval is out for the year and maybe all of next year, while Soriano isn't even healthy right now. I just think that if you trade Canning, even though, like I keep saying, this season is not about trying to make a run for the wild card or anything like that, trading Canning would straight up just be, sacrificing every single game because it's just, you wouldn't even have any starting pitching left. So I don't know. Nick King actually agrees with Fud Alex. He says, yeah, Canning could be a good trade, might need a different environment to develop better. That's true. We know that there's a lot going on with the Angels in terms of winning now, winning in the future, selling at the deadline. What do we do? Patrick Sandoval, what do we do? Starting rotation, a lot of uncertainty, and maybe Canning himself would benefit from just being in a different environment. But I think right now you got to keep him because I don't think the trade value is that high. And there's still plenty of time. With every single game that goes by, I think it's certainly valid to talk about trade value. That's all I've been doing every single postcast. But that doesn't mean that we need to make a decision on if we're trading Griffin Canning right now. Same thing with Red Hefo. He's absolutely red hot, and it's going to be really interesting to see what the front office does with him. But we still have time. We still have the All-Star break to see where things are. A lot of teams have to figure out where they are in terms of if they're buyers or sellers. And the Angels are in a good position in terms of having guys that they can trade and not needing to rush it. Wait, see what the market is for these guys, and then decide. But Griffin Canning was not great. Fortunately, the bullpen was. And I'll be honest, I don't remember every single reliever that came in this one because I don't have it in front of me, unfortunately. But what I do know is that above all else, I am so proud of Ben Joyce for what he did in the 10th. And Carlos Estevez deserves his credit. This guy early in the season, for me and others, was getting ripped on for not being good enough at all. The bullpen, as the Halo Bros have described him, or described the bullpen, as I copied them and used. I can copy them because they're a part of my network and because I shout them out. Shout out to Locked On Angels Daily Podcast guys, John and Mike Frisch, the Super Halo Bros. I'm going to copy the bullpen slogan. That's what it was earlier in the season. But how ironic that in back-to-back games, Plesac was awful. The bullpen came through with, I believe it was 6 shutout innings. And then tonight, Griffin Canning, not great. And the bullpen comes through with back-to-back shutout innings. And above all else, Carlos Estevez in the 9th inning, maybe not the most high-pressure moment coming through. But Ben Joyce, one of the players of the game, to come through and not give up a run in extra innings. When you are such a wild card player, you deserve a lot of credit. So shout out to him. Shout out to everybody in here. We're going to take our last break. And when we come back, we're just going to chat. All right. We're just going to chat, end this podcast, talk a little bit more about what to expect going forward with one more game against the Tigers tomorrow on Sunday, with Monday off, and then with the Cubs coming up after that before we head into the 4th of July and then eventually the All-Star break. We're going to talk about that and more, and I'm going to thank you a million more times for sticking with me here on a very unique Locked On Angels postcast. We're going to take one more break right now. Now, finally, today's show is brought to you by Game Time. Game Time is an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball. And what's great about Game Time, what makes it not only an authorized ticket marketplace, but the best ticket marketplace, is that prices actually go down on the Game Time app the closer you get to first pitch. I tell the story every time, and I'm going to tell it again. Growing up, there is no better feeling than growing up in high school. Even now, I'm in college. I'm out of school. I just graduated a couple weeks ago. And, it's unique with the postcast job. Obviously, I can't really go to games because I have to be able to come on live after games, even when my computer dies like it did tonight. But if you are a student who graduated or is off for the summer, or you're a young kid who's a high schooler or an 8th grader, or you're a parent who has kids and is able to take a day off of work or go on the weekend, Game Time. What's great about it is you can decide last minute. I'm just going to go to the game tonight, and I'm not going to get penalized for going late. It's not early bird gets the word with Game Time. It's actually getting rewarded for making a last minute decision. Especially, let's be honest, the Angels are not selling out every game. The Big A, I think it's like around 36,000, and that's with all the Christmas and June promos this weekend. But Game Time, the prices go down as much as 60%. They have so many other things too, like zone deals where you can just pick the section. Game Time will pick the seat for you and make the prices cheaper. They also, my favorite feature, you go on the app, you can see the view from the seat on the app. Sometimes, like I said, sometimes sections 2 rows back or 10 rows back or 13 rows back might actually have a better view than 10 rows ahead of you. And you can check that with the Game Time app. So download the Game Time app and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Shout out to Game Time, my favorite ticket marketplace, and it should be yours too. Shout out to Game Time for sponsoring this postcast. We are back here live on a very unique edition of the Locked On Angels postcast, coming at you live from my phone on the Locked On Sports Los Angeles YouTube channel. And it was a crazy night, not only because my computer died, but because the Angels somehow keep winning 6 in a row, thanks to a come-from-behind 5-2 deficit turned into a 6-5 extra inning victory, thanks to the Kevin Pillar sac fly in the bottom of the 10th. We already talked about Logan O'Hoppe coming through in the 8th, Taylor Ward coming through in the 7th, Pillar coming through in the 10th. We already talked about Griffin Canning not being great, but the bullpen having his back, especially Estevez and Ben Joyce in the 9th and 10th. But I want to talk about a couple more things before we end this postcast. The first being Luis Rengifo. This guy comes through, man. He comes through, whether it's a home run, whether it's a couple base hits, whether it's walks, whether it's steals, whether it's hitting foul balls that are this close to being home runs in 3 straight games. Luis Rengifo continues to be, although O'Hoppe is the future and the leader, I think, Rengifo is the best player on the Angels right now. The average is still the best in the American League. He continues to just find ways to get on base. But what I like about Rengifo is that unlike other contact guys like a Luis Arias or something, there is the occasional pop. There is the occasional threat of having a big fly. We saw it in back-to-back games, the 2 previous games. We saw it with line drives that were caught at the warning track. There is the potential for the big fly every once in a while, but that doesn't change his approach. He doesn't need a different swing to get the home run. He doesn't need to suddenly change and say, I'm going to swing for the fence or try to get under the ball. He just goes up there and hits the ball hard, and sometimes it gets over the fence. Okay? So shout out to Luis Rengifo. I think he's been the best player, and I know it's a debate. They were talking about it during the game that we were talking about on the postcast yesterday, what we do with Rengifo. But like I said, talking about Griffin Canning, there's no rush. You don't have to decide right now. The crazy thing about this win streak is that all it does is delay the decision-making about selling. I don't think it should change anything about selling, but a Luis Rengifo who's hitting 295 on a terrible Angels team is not the value, does not have the trade value that a Luis Rengifo hitting 315 on a winning Angels team has. So just keep winning. The right guys keep coming through, and all it does is increase the trade value, increase the happiness of us in the present, and increase the prospect haul that we're going to get for the future. So shout out to Luis Rengifo coming through. Have to say that. Couple more things. We officially clinched the Tigers series win, winning the first 3 games of the 4-game set. If you win tomorrow, it's 7 in a row. Then you get Monday off to maybe cool down a bit and embrace the fact that you're on a 7-game streak, but not, go a little too crazy. You'll take the day off. And then you got the Cubs. And if you can make it 8 in a row or, 9 of your last 10 or something like that with the Cubs, that would be a more than amazing stretch, because we knew coming into these series with the A's, with the team we're playing right now, the Tigers, with the Cubs, all teams under 500. Even with that, still teams with better records than the Angels. So that's why this stretch deserves its credit, right? If you were the Dodgers and you win 6 in a row against teams under 500, you don't get anything for that. You don't get any credit. You're supposed to do that. But let's be honest, the Angels are still probably a worse team than the Tigers coming into the series before they've done what they've done. They are a better team than the A's, but only because the A's might be the worst team in baseball. So the Angels deserve the credit for having the 6-game streak, regardless of who they're playing. And if they can make it 7, if they can make it 9 out of 10 or something like that, they deserve even more credit. Got to start giving it up for Ron Washington. He had the team meeting earlier that, created a run for a couple of games and then fell apart again. But you split against the Dodgers. You deserve credit for that. And then you've done what you've done. So shout out to Ron Washington. Shout out to the whole Angels team for coming through in multiple games in a row, and for the right guys coming through. Let me know in the comment section after the fact on this unique postcast what you think the Angels should do with the Luis Rengifo, with the Taylor Ward, with the Griffin Canning, with the Carlos Estevez, with so many more, Kevin Pillar even. Let me know what you think in the comment section. And once again, I got to say it a million times, shout out to all of you in here for sticking with me, even with the computer dying in the middle of the stream, and even with me coming back on my phone. I love you all so, so much. Now, we're going to end the stream with a little foolishness, I guess, because Lyrical Prophet says, Yankee fan here, trade Trout to the Yankees. Trout needs more playoff games. Unfortunately, he is wasting away out west. And Fut Alex accurately responds with, trade us Aaron Judge for Trout, and we have a deal. Hilarious. That is funny. Obviously, all jokes there, but not a joke. The Yankee fan coming in saying Rendon has kept you guys down. Now that, my friend, is a true statement. So, Fun Alex responding to what I was saying earlier, saying keep Rengifo. I think, unlike some of the other guys, unlike a Taylor Ward, unlike a Griffin Canning, Rengifo, it is completely one way or the other. It's not trade him or keep him for a year. No, it's trade him and get a huge haul, or keep him by extending him 3, 4, 5 years. There's no in between. There's no don't trade him, but just keep him for a year, maybe sign him to a 1-year extension. No. You can't do that with a guy this hot, this valuable. It's either you trade him and you better get a huge haul and you better do it right, or you extend him for 3, 4, 5 years and commit to him being a part of the core, being, every young core needs 1 or 2 veterans to lead them, and not veterans that are there for a year, veterans that are there for a couple of years like he's been, and that will be there for a couple of years as things grow, right? So I think Rengifo is the perfect guy in a lineup that's going to have O'Hoppe, who, let's be honest, is not really a contact hitter, still more of a power hitter who's going to come through every once in a while with the big home run, as he has done in back-to-back games. Zach Neto, I still don't think, obviously with that average not being that high, he's not really a contact hitter yet either. He's going to hit 250. He's going to have extra bases. He's going to use his athleticism. He's going to come through in the clutch. Taylor Ward certainly hasn't been a contact hitter this year. Kind of like O'Hoppe, just comes through every once in a while with a big 3-run home run, a big 2-run double like tonight, right? There's not many contact guys. The only one is Nolan Shanuel, but he has been just kind of a subpar hitter, let's be honest. So I think Rengifo is the perfect guy to be kept and to keep as a different look, a different type of player, a contact guy to counteract the power hitters in O'Hoppe and Neto. I don't want to say power hitter, but still more of an extra base hit guy right now. Having a guy that you can trust to at least get 1 hit every night, most of the nights 2, like Rengifo has been doing lately, is so valuable. So I am on team keep Rengifo, but that means extend Rengifo. That does not mean keep him for a year and then maybe next year he has an off year, and then what do, right? You got to extend him or trade him, and I say extend him. But Alex says trade Taylor Ward. That has been my stance all along. That'll still be my stance. I just think he makes too many mistakes for the so-called veteran of the team. And I don't really think he provides that much of a leadership boost, I'll be honest, in an outfield that is kind of empty other than him. I think the infield core can be set. You could have a really special core for a while in the infield with O'Hoppe, Shanuel, Rengifo, Neto, and whatever you decide to do at third base. The outfield might just need a total reboot. Moniak and Adele just aren't getting it done. Mike Trout, we know what he is if he can come back and be healthy. But other than that, maybe you need a reboot there. So I'm certainly still on trade Taylor Ward team. So shout out to Fud Alex for those. Lyrical Prophet, the Yankee fan, says, keep up the great content and being a true fan. I wish you and the Angels get to where they deserve to be in the playoffs. Well, shout out to you, Lyrical Prophet. You came in with some foolishness saying trade Mike Trout to the Yankees, but you leave with a very kind comment. And thank you for calling this great content, even though it's very makeshift here on my phone. I will say it one more time before I end this. Thank you so much to all of you for sticking with me. I don't know what the heck happened. With my laptop, I don't do things last minute with you guys. I always come prepared, and I'm always sitting here at my computer the whole game with the stream already set up, already doing the thumbnails in the second or third inning, already getting the background ready to go, making sure the tech is good, and I always make sure my laptop is charged. But I noticed today that my laptop charger was plugged in, and the charge was not going up. It was going down. Despite it being plugged in, I knew there were issues. I actually called up someone to bring me another charger, a different charger, thinking the charger was the issue. But the charge just kept going down. Like I said, when I started the previous stream, I was at 6%, hoping it was going to stay. And ironically, the second I said, oh, the battery seems to be sticking at around 6%, we might get to the 30 minutes. Then out of nowhere, you guys saw it. I started glitching. I started freezing. And right when that happened, my laptop eventually just kind of exploded on me. It is off. It is black. I don't know what's went on with that. So I'm certainly going to spend all day tonight and all morning tomorrow before the day game. I believe tomorrow's a day game, right? Trying to get this fixed for you guys so we can have a normal postcast tomorrow. But thank you so much to all of you. But Alex, Lyrical Prophet, Anaheim Angel, Nick, who else? Jeff was in here. I even saw Fernando in here. Shout out to all of you. I really, really appreciate it. And I really hope. It's been a crazy week for me. I already told you about the move in, the move out, and the move in. I'm in a new apartment. I don't have my normal setup behind me. But once I kind of get moved in, then suddenly my laptop dies on me. It's been a crazy, crazy week. I'm working hard, though. We're going to get this laptop fixed and get back to the full premium content that you guys deserve. But Alex says the laptop hurt you, bro. It did. I saw someone in the comments said, wow, the second he said that he thought he was going to make it, then it died on him. So, yes, very ironic. But I got through it this time on the phone. Maybe the quality wasn't the best, but we got the 30-plus minute postcast. I somehow got my ad reads in. I somehow got to read all the comments. And above all else, I got to celebrate a really fun Angel win with all of you. So with all that being said, I'm Gavin Carlson. I am so thankful for all of you on a crazy night with the postcast. I'm signing off now. And like I said, hopefully tomorrow I will have a working laptop, a working stream, and hopefully, above all else, the Angels can come through with a win once again. So 6 in a row. Kevin Pillar, the hero, walk-off home run, or not walk-off home run, walk-off sac fly. Angels 6, Tigers 5, 6 wins in a row. And I'll be back tomorrow to hopefully, in a much better setting, break down another win. Take care, everybody. I know it's late. Have a great rest of your night. Get some sleep, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. So long.